Political analyst Ross Feingold is with us now to discuss the geopolitical rivalry between China and the United States as Donald Trump prepares to assume office for his second term in the White House. Good afternoon, Ross. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you. Happy New Year. Now, how will the geopolitical rivalry between China and the US evolve under President Trump's second term, especially in terms of trade and technology?
I think we'll see a continued or increasing amount of restrictions on the technology trade between the United States and China. We'll also see more restrictions on the ability of investors from the United States, like venture capital funds, private equity funds, or other types of institutional investors, to invest in China's technology industry. So I think we're going to see a heightened technology war, which might be one part of a broader trade war. Depends whether or not Trump follows up on his campaign promise to increase tariffs on Chinese goods up to 60%. It's something that he could very quickly do if he wants to. And if I had to guess, I'm going to say he's going to look to increase tariffs on Chinese goods pretty quickly.
Okay. And what impact will Trump's policies have on US-China relations regarding military tensions and regional influence?
Yeah, that's such a great question because there's so many things on the U.S.-China agenda. Military is but one of those things. And when the two sides get together, they go through this long list of grievances that they have towards each other. And those military tensions, whether it's in the Taiwan Strait or the South China Sea, are but one of many topics. But I think we should expect that Trump's national security team, his Secretary of Defense, his Secretary of State, his National Security Advisor, they're going to be very strong advocates of a robust U.S. naval presence in the Pacific and specifically in the South China Sea and maybe even the Taiwan Strait as well. So I think we should also expect that military tensions are going to increase because there'll be a more robust U.S. presence. And China, of course, is going to be very critical of that. And they're going to have to respond in kind with a higher presence of their own military assets.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and will Trump's approach to China differ significantly from his first term, and how will it shape future diplomatic and economic interactions?
The first Trump administration became very tough on China, and that was in a lot of different policy areas, whether it was trade, military tensions, the relationship with Taiwan, sanctioning Chinese government officials. So I think we'll see a lot more of that. And when it comes to trade, though, which is really Trump's passion, that really is the U.S.-China issue that he is personally most interested in. We have to keep in mind that despite the trade war, he did reach what was called the Phase 1 trade agreement with China in January of 2020. But then COVID-19 pandemic hit, and the Chinese side didn't really fulfill the commitments it made to purchase more agricultural goods under that Phase 1 trade agreement. So despite all the tensions in the different policy areas where China and the United States do not see eye to eye, there still might be room for a trade deal because, again, we have this precedent that Trump was willing to enter into a trade deal with China in the final year of his first term.
Okay, Ross, now my last question. How will the US-China rivalry affect other nations, particularly those caught between the two superpowers in terms of trade policies and security concerns?
At least in recent years, we've seen a lot of countries, whether in Asia or in Europe, they've sided with the U.S. when it comes to China. Countries like Japan, Korea, Australia, and India come to mind. And the European Union countries, they've gotten tougher on China as well. So I think they've also come around on many issues, such as technology trade, to the United States positions. The really interesting thing about this question is another important bloc of countries really has not taken sides, or they make a lot of effort not to take sides, and that's the 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. Those countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, they are very, very careful and maintain strong relations with both the United States and China. So it looks like the ASEAN nations are not going to pick a side.
Okay, Ross, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.